Denslow's Night Before Christmas by Clement C. Moore. Made into a book and illustrated by W. W. Denslow in 1902. With much love, this book is dedicated to Nancy Ann Turner by her uncle. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hope that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eye should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed in all fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down on a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Introduction. A long time ago, in a tall, gray old house in New York City, a father wrote a story in rhyme for the surprise and delight of his children when they should gather around him on Christmas morning. But he did not know that he was writing the pretty story for all the other little people in the land until their laughter began to float up from everywhere and pour into the windows of his house and fill his heart with music. He grew to be an old, old man, and year by year, as Christmas came around, the laughter of the children grew sweeter and louder. And as the heads of his own little ones left the height of his knee and crept up and up to his shoulder, the first thing he knew they were sending other wee, new, sunny-haired folk to nestle and clamber about him, and listen with breathless joy while he repeated the thrilling account of the visit of St. Nicholas. And so, for the reason that many people knew and loved the poem, it became what we call a classic, and the name of the man who wrote it, Clement Clark Moore, will be beloved while the Christmas spirit keeps the heart of a child fresh and sweet, and the heart of the earth young. He was a wise man, and it is said that he wrote many wise books, but they are all forgotten, and his fame rests on this merry tale that we have all listened to in the flickering firelight of that blessed eve, when the snow glistened outside under the soft, round moon. And in the towers above the town, the bells could scarcely hold their tongues till they were free to swing and sing, "Christmas, Christmas, Christmas." What grown-up child of today does not recall the creepy thrills of delight during that mysterious waiting time, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse? What an artistic preparation for the sudden, far-off jangle and clamor of silver bells, the nearer creak of the tiny sleigh on the crisp snow, and then the actual prancing and pawing of those dear familiar little hooves. Those enchanting reindeer with their tossing antlered heads and nimble feet are the hereditary property of every child in America. They belong to the grandfathers and grandmothers, and they will be the joy of the little people of the future, since William Wallace Denslow has coaxed them into his pages and pictured them in his own delightful way for a new generation. It was certainly a happy thought to put the poem in a new and suitable dress, and to embellish the lines with Mr. Denslow's whimsical humor, for it was written before it became the fashion to write down to children. And besides being a merry tale, it is an excellent piece of literary work, full of dramatic action and exquisite imagery. All that is good survives, and so the little people of all the time to come may hear in their smiling Yuletide dreams the patter of tiny, hurrying hoofs upon the roof, and the jolly and significant voice of the old saint calling, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Grace Duffy Boylan.